everyone, it's Lily Divine Light here. I do apologise, just a disclaimer before I start the video, if the camera's a bit wobbly, because I am actually holding it today with my arm. So, yeah, I hope that's okay, but I thought I would carry on with the series, story, you know, who can talk, pieces of my life, because I've only done 2 episodes. I think I've done growing up and alternative. This was before, obviously, I was actually on camera. So today, the subject I'm talking about is dyslexia. And now, dyslexia has always been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I got diagnosed when I was really, really young. And I just, up until that point, excuse that if you can hear my cat, she's howling. Don't know why, she's going hyper. But yeah, anyway, it's always been a part of my life since I was really young, and I was diagnosed probably when I was about, I don't know, 8 years old maybe, I don't know. It was like, I was still in primary school then, I can't remember exact. I think it must have been about 8, something like 10, 8 or 10, something like that. And I used to struggle so much in school, and I just couldn't understand what was wrong. I could never seem to catch on what was going on, but the signs were there when I first started school, when I was in reception pretty much. If you don't know what that is like the first, if you're from America, that's like the first year of school in the UK. And basically, at first they thought I'd got hearing problems, because I used to not pay attention to what was being said in the class. But it wasn't that I couldn't hear or I was being rude. I just genuinely couldn't follow what was being taught to me because I couldn't understand, because I had dyslexia, but they didn't know that at the time. But yeah, when I was about 8, they pulled me out of the class, and because they had picked up that I'd got dyslexia, and they wanted me to basically do extra little classes to help me out. My mum struggled for years to get me a learning statement, to get me help, absolutely years, and it wasn't until I went to high school that I actually got my own teaching assistant to support me through it. And it is hard being dyslexic because it's not often considered a disability, I suppose, or alert. You know, that people, when they just think, yeah, you're dyslexic. you know, they'll laugh at you like that, and you just think, well, it's a learning disability, you know, you can't help how you are, you know, it doesn't make me any different than anybody else. But yeah, it's just so hard because when you're like that, people just, it's like one of those invisible things they can't see, and then you might not necessarily understand, and then you feel like you're dumb, and that's like the negative side to it. But the whole point of the reason why I'm doing this video is because I want to kind of explain that you're not on your own if you are dyslexic or you've got any type of disability. But yeah, anyway, I got into high school and I found it was better when I had a teaching assistant supporting me through my lessons at school. But I still found I struggled because in high school, in primary school, bullying does go on. But that will be, I will talk about a bit of it now, but I'll leave because in my next pieces of my life video will be on bullying. So I will sort of give you a snippet now of what I might be talking about. But basically, I don't know how anybody else's struggles with dyslexia or any other disability, so just let me know in the comments of what your thing is at the end of this life. But yeah, anyway, like, I found high school so hard because people knew that I got dyslexia, and they basically, I think they use you as when you've got anything different about you, it's like you're a target, and it's like, it's just one of those things, because I used to just get all sorts happen to me, I used to just, like, seriously, like, I would just literally come out with something in the classroom. I was being deadly serious, and then they would just like laugh at me and find it absolutely, like, funny that I couldn't understand, and it's not nice, because you just generally, like, when you're dyslexic, you just want to be like everybody else, you just don't want people, like, necessarily picking on you for how you are, because you can't help it. It's just how, the way you were born, and it's one of those things. But I used to have all sorts happen. They used to laugh at me, they used to throw things at me, it was just vile. High school was. And I mean, from what I've heard now, kids are even worse, like, children are even worse, like, for bullying people now than when it was when I was younger. I mean, I used to think it was bad back then, but some of the things that I hear now is absolutely nasty, what kids do to each other now. But what can you do about it? But on the plus side, there are positives to being dyslexic, is that you can be very clever at certain subjects. So, like, for instance, I've studied crystals, like geology, like, not, I haven't got like a degree or anything, but I've learnt loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads about it through research. I love history. I love learning about history, and I love, like, talking about different parts of history. My, like, favourite parts of history is, like, the World Wars, and about Egyptians, and dinosaurs, things like that. And that's like the pro, like, to being dyslexic. You're very clever. Fun fact, Albert Einstein was actually dyslexic, and look how clever he was. And he was my idol growing up as a child, because I thought, if he can do it, if he can make it and be dyslexic, so can I. And basically, I just try not to let it get me down as much as I can, because at the end of the day, you can't help being the way you are, and you can't necessarily help it. And I think sometimes as well, when you're dyslexic, going back onto negatives, unfortunately, basically, sometimes people can see you as a target when you're dyslexic, or you've got some sort of disability, and I think it's wrong, because, like, people will say, like, try and manipulate somebody like me into being this person that they're not, and people will bully you and do things like that, and they just see you as, like, a target for that sort of thing. But what I try and do is try not to be the target, and I try and be strong, and I don't let them get to me, because at the end of the day, they're not worth it. If they're not willing to just sit down and understand you as a person, and not judge you or make you out to be something you're not, then they're not worth it. When I was a kid, I mean, it's enough growing up when you're dyslexic. It's enough growing up when you're dyslexic. But when you're growing up into a young lady or a young man, and you've got other things going on at the same time, and your hormones are everywhere, it does make things worse. But, like, I found once I'd left college and school and all that, I found that I've been a lot better, if that makes any sense. And where I work, they support me a lot. You know, if I'm ever struggling, like, I'll say, oh, what have I got to do now? Is it got to be done in this way or a certain way? And then they'll be like, yeah, it's got to be done like that. And I think it's lovely that they do support me like that, because then I don't have to worry about necessarily feeling like I'm dumb or whatever, if you know what I mean. And I love that. And that's why I love my work so much, because they take care of me, and I've got a good support network. I've got loads of friends I can talk to. So yeah, so that is, I think, I'm just trying to think anything else that I can put in this video that might necessarily help people. Oh yeah, I just want to do a shout out to Angela the Goth Queen, because she has dyslexia just like me, and she has mentioned that she might be doing a video about dyslexia too. But she does, like, she is a lovely lady. I love Angela the Goth Queen. She's just like one of my good friends. Like, but yeah, like, I think in general, I think if people made the effort to maybe understand where we're coming from, and maybe think, oh, you know, don't be so hard on them, they might, you know, that sort of thing, then I think the world would be a better place. If the people, yeah, like, for the most part, people are lovely. Like, this whole community on here, like, there's, like, just lovely friends I've made, like, YouTuber friends and everything, and got my own little YouTuber family, and but yeah, it's just one of those things. And to be honest, I wouldn't be me if I wasn't dyslexic. So so yeah, that is pretty much it. And I just wanted to say, remember, if you have got any mental health problems, you're dyslexic, you've got any disabilities, you're not alone. And that's the big thing to remember, is you're not alone, and there'll always be somebody out there that understands exactly where you come from. And that's the point of the video. So I hope you all like this quick video, and I will be carrying on with this Pieces of My Life series, and the next one hopefully should be about bullying, unless I decide on something else. But fingers crossed it should be about bullying, the next episode of Pieces of My Life. So yeah, I hope you liked, and I shall see you all again next time, my crystal guys and ghoulies.